I took it to try one more vibe coding prompt, and so therefore, then I'm like, oh crap, I've lost track of time myself.
Oh yeah, vibe coding. It's another dimension. It can easily put you in the zone.
Yeah, yes, put you in the zone and put you in a mood as well. Never mind.
Cool.
So just on this, let me just share my screen so that we've got this up here. Earlier on, all I did on here is just give us a bit more sort of space around these ones. So I've dragged it around. I haven't changed any of the grouping or anything we did yesterday. But I thought that having dumped this into kind of this big picture view that we've got now, obviously we can see some are kind of sparsely occupied here by only one person, which, you know, on this one maybe, and others have got quite a lot of density here. So I think if we come in and start tackling maybe the ones that have got a lot of cards in, then we can have a look and just say, okay, are these all the same motivation, or are they multiple different types of the same thing? Does that make sense?
Sounds good.
Cool. So this one I think labeled process. Let's have a look. So this is process how to draw. This is methodology, which might be the same. Structured approach. Another process. These are all kind of the same thing. Eduardo said they're written the same one. Glimpse into the process. Okay, so there's a glimpse here. That might be slightly different. How to distill my ideas into simple concepts. Learn how to execute as well as come up with my ideas. So that feels like it might be more similar to this execution, whereas this is a bit more. This one I'm not so sure.
Yeah, Tammy feels like here as well, so I can learn how to use typography to create better headlines, captions, and titles. It feels very how to draw instead of what's the process.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then the why and the how, but then the why and the how does feel a bit more like the process.
Yeah,
so
for sure. And here the basics of graphic design and visual engagement is a bit like tricky, but graphic design is there as well.
And then we've got, you know, the learn process. Let's have a look here. Was this scale color concept? So Mittel was very similar to this here. You know, structured approach. Okay, maybe it's. Let's have a look.
Okay, these are exactly the same. Should I? Okay. That's from two stories, and both stories
exactly.
covered that.
Sometimes we didn't change it at all. Another point of view. So maybe there's something about that, and then there's another point of view. Just stack these on top of one another so that they're not different perspective. That seems someone else's creative process. So that these ones feel more like I want to. So, and maybe this is where it's different. I don't know where Alex sits. I'll pull him in the middle. But up here, it's like I want to learn how to draw like that. I want to know how to execute the drawings. This is a bit more tools. So I think we had a tools section somewhere.
Below this one, yeah, we had. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Don't worry about that. Okay. Then there's this kind of thought process.
Yeah.
Thought process, method, connective feeling. Don't know about that. Behind the scenes process. So, and some of this stuff is, where are you? Just stack on top of one another.
I would say this one is a bit unique. So I can learn how to effortlessly create visuals in real time, on demand. It was more about the live aspect of it. I guess it kind of fits here, but it has a unique angle.
It did. But Alex had the same kind of feeling there because he'd seen some other like presenter do this, and I think I don't know that everybody needs it. I think it's more that if I understand these processes and I practice, then eventually I'll be good enough to do this in real time.
Yeah.
But then you know there is the pull is I watch somebody else do it, and so therefore if you're that much better than me, I want to learn from you, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's still the process. It's just Giannis is able to do this, so I want to know his process because that probably will help me do that as well.
Yeah. So when I put process ones down here, when I was listening to it, it seemed to be quite a lot of when I see something from creators, not just you, also Roberto and PJ and whatever, and they're cranking out such a high volume of these things. So like every time I go onto LinkedIn or whatever, I'm seeing more of their content. And when they crank them out, they're all decent quality. Whereas, you know, when I'm sat here and I'm trying to crank stuff out, my ideas aren't getting out of my head. And like when they do, I'm not too confident that the quality is any good. So therefore, I want to learn from them, not necessarily the how to draw, which is a bit more up like this, but if I learn the process, then I can shove all of my ideas into the start of the factory, crank their process handle, and I'll be able to consistently spew out decent quality content in volume myself. So that's why I thought quite a lot of these were interested in, and the perspective in here as well. But I don't know, mate. Yeah, I want to see somebody else's method, but it's going to help. You know, like adopting the process means I can get these visuals, whereas up here it's more I need to learn how to create them.
Yeah.
But then I mean, you know, you're looking at where's your typography.
But I would have a look actually at the tools part and see how close the top ones are from tools, because tools often come with a similar, like, I want to know how to draw, how to use these tools. It's like, I think, a similar flavor.
Yeah.
Okay, they are quite specific, like the tools I use. They just
it's really
I think it's the classic curiosity gap. Oh, yeah, hey creator, do you use Notion or do you use Apple Notes? I really want to know, because like I want to use the same, you know, because I like you. That's...
I think it's a bit about that, and I also think that it's you know, it's coupled with the frustration of whatever I'm doing now. So you know, I'm using Canva in, I'm not sure whose case, I can't remember, but there's one, I think it was Anne who's using Canva. And
yeah,
it's like,
I think so. Yeah,
this is all generic and crappy and stuff like that, whereas this is all unique. So if I learn that tool, maybe maybe I'll be able to create the uniqueness with it. And you know, the tools are part of the process, I suppose. So techniques to do this. Express what's in my head more easily. Okay, that's different. That's more communication. So I don't know where. I think we've got a communication one somewhere down here. Get more clarity on the process. Okay. So maybe some of it's more, I want to know the process, but why do they want to know the process? That's where I think we separate this. If I want to know do I want to know the process so that I can do it once, or do I want to know the process so I can repeatedly do it? Does that make sense?
I'm trying to think, is it really like, to me, I don't know. To me, it feels it's more like I just want to know the process, and then.
Yeah, I must say I'm looking at this now, and
well, usually nobody joins to create a visual once. They probably wanna.
Well, why don't we forget about this? Let's put these all back in here because I'm not sure where we're separated.
Well, I do feel that like there's probably some angles we can find in the process itself, but I think like a solid separation would be, what tool do you use? Just like that's a very simple thing to address, and whatever we can do with it, whatever we do. Then there is, I want to learn how to draw. That's like clear, and then there is like, what's the process, how he honest things, how he come up with this stuff, and that's like the biggest piece here, I think, which is maybe in some ways separatable.
And what I was just going to say, just looking at the colors, so we've got loads in this process bucket, which is cool. Why don't we look for who's not in there and see whether the people who are not in there teach us something about, like, why don't they want to know about process? So like,
you know what would be sick, you probably have thinking about in your vibe coded tool, but if you can click like a button and like whatever a right tool, and then highlight all these people on the board, so you can instantly see where they fit.
Yeah, they are. The board's hard enough already. I'm still not getting better than a Miro board right now. But yeah, who's not here? But I think if you look at this, there's none of this light pinkish color. So Knife, he doesn't. So I can enjoy the process, but this was all about enjoyment. Hobby. So actually, okay, no. So Wes is in there and Eduardo's in there. Frederick is in here. Kathy's in here. So okay, that's not different. And Nikki didn't want to learn the.
I don't know. It's like.
So I think if you're looking at so certainly the purest people who wanted a hobby, Nikki and Knife, aren't in process. Who else isn't in there? These dark green ones. Who was that? Aditi.
The light green one.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, that's Nikki. That's Nikki. Yeah.
The light green ones aren't there, but also Aditi's not in there. I don't think she would have mentioned anything about process. So let's have a look. Discount. Picture.
Well, yeah, they were. I guess they were. I think. Yeah, no, this is like speculation, but it feels like.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure. I'm positive they wanted to learn the process.
Hold on. Let me call you. Oh, wait. Let me call you back.
Neil?
My earphones are weird. Wait.
He wanted to learn the tools and things like that. Knife wanted to learn tools as well.
Where you wanna call? Just for a second.
No, I think my wife's AirPods Pro have just connected to this. Why have you?
Oh yeah,
a bunch of stuff that.
I was a bit like, what's going on?
Okay, what was it?
I don't know. It was just a woman said a few words, but
all right,
nothing,
so my wife
nothing much.
And then this AirPods Pro and connected to this. Right. Better tell her not to share her secrets with things that we're going to publish live.
And I think there wasn't any complete thought when she was connected.
Maybe I'll have to mute that bit, but I'll see what she was saying. Hear whether she was saying something negative about me.
No.
Yeah. So what I was sort of looking at here in terms of the ones. So we had Knife and Nikki weren't interested in process. Aditi and Jackie, it seems, didn't seem to care about this. So it could be something to do with if I'm doing it as a hobby, or if I'm doing it. The ones who weren't so bothered about process were either worried that they didn't have any artistic talent to begin with, so they were dipping their toes in the water, or they were doing it for fun, so it didn't really matter anyway. Whereas the ones who were doing it because they were making money out of it, or because they'd seen some sort of traction, the process was more important. And that's where it becomes about repeatability. So you said, like, wouldn't everybody want to do it repeatedly? Well, if I'm just taking it up for the first time to see if I can do it, then maybe I don't care about the repeatability. I just want to learn enough to tell me whether I should carry on trying or give up.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but for example, if we look here at the DT, she has desire to like get results, and I think it's maybe I guess what I sense a little bit is it's more like maybe she wanted results and she kind of discarded the process, it was like that will come along the way. Because like, I don't know, when I see Aditi in the community, she is very much like into asking feedback, trying to like understand things, and she clearly is interested in it.
Remember, there's a difference between how she's behaving now and what she wanted before she bought it. So I think where I'm seeing this distinction, and so maybe we can lump everybody together and keep the process one for now, because actually, like I said, the importance here is not that we split it endlessly and we've got, I learned the process to put A's next to B's or whatever versus green and blue. If it's all about process and that distinguishes those people from, for example, Jackie, Nikki, Knife, Aditi, etc., that's fine. We're just trying to make sure we're pulling different needs over. And what I think I'm seeing here is that if I'm doing it for fun, or if I'm doing it like just I'm going to take my first steps into this, which is really what these people are doing here. Maybe not Akil, I don't know, but I don't so much care about the process because I don't even know whether this is something I'm not committed to it long term. I'm going to take my first step in it and see, is there a future for me? And obviously with Aditi, she's then taking it up and she's learning more and she's doing her own stuff. And so, she's taken many more steps. But when she was buying it, I'm on, this is step one that I'm taking. So maybe that's why the process doesn't matter so much to people.
Yeah, but I don't know. If I like zoom out and if I see what I've done and how I communicate things, I kind of feel that, to me, it feels like I'm doing, I think, a pretty good job when it comes to this, because like we're mentioning that you don't need to be a designer, and that button probably should be even pushed even more heavier, in some form of way, so people really feel convinced that they got this stuff, even if they are like complete dum-dums when it comes to design and artsy stuff and etc. Like that's one. The other one is like mention stuff about learning how to kind of draw and stuff, though that is like on the back end. Mostly I convince people that in order to get these results, you actually need to learn very little design and stuff, and like so it's not that important. Some people think, oh, I need to become a super artist, to do this stuff, and I'm more like, that's not true. You actually need to know the very basics, which I will show you and teach you. So I think it kind of all fits that I'm just thinking, is it?
Well, I tell you what, because I'm just trying to come back to this now, and maybe there is thought process versus the thought process versus the execution process. Does that separate these two, or do people want the thought and execution? And I don't know. Let's have a look. So Francesca was very much the how do I get the, I want to learn how your brain thinks. Wes wanted somebody else's point of view, just adding a new
I feel there's people who want blueprint, and there's people who want to just get in a bit in my brain and see how I do things without a clear blueprint. But hey, honest, how do you think? How do you do this stuff? And then there are some people who like, give me blueprint, give me A, B, C, D, what I need to do in order to get this.
Well, yeah, if we look at the ones that are here at the bottom, They must have a process. I'll put that up there just because I'm not so sure he's in there. Thought process, effortlessly do it in real time. I don't know where that sits, but we'll just leave that over here for now. Organized, structured process. I can learn the techniques, turn the ideas. So this is technique. Technique. Process. What's this one? Don't want to stare at a blank page. I think that's the important part of this. Recipe. And clarity. So dump them over there. And then the ones up the top, we're at the basics. Learn how to draw. So I think we've got the top row, so I can learn how to create. So yeah, here I've got the ideas. I want to know how to execute. You know, how do I execute? You know, I've been looking at these ideas online. I've been like I'm trying to work out how they work. So now I just want to learn the why and the how. Whereas these ones down here, I've done it once, and now I want to do it again. Kathy didn't. She might be the anomaly in here, but Eduardo, you know, he can draw, so he didn't want to learn how to draw or even how to draw like you. It was just, you know, I want to add another method. Like, you know, I know my way of doing things, but what if I could add a second track to this highway? You know, could I do more? And I think there's that. Middle, organized, structured approach. Then I think that might be here. Learn the techniques. Maybe he goes up the top, because that's a bit more. So the scale, color, and containers, this is more execution, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
So then the top row becomes the process. There is how do I turn the idea into something attractive, whereas this is a broader piece of process here. How do I come up with the idea and refine it before executing? Does that feel about right, or am I over?
No, I think that's very fair. I would probably do the same.
All right, so then we've separated these. Stop it here. And what are we going to say? So this one here is really the. So I can learn into here into a polished visual. In a repeatable way, because everybody wants process for the repetition side of things. And yeah, this is drag that up over there. So we'll learn another creator's thought process. Repeatedly like this. Something like that. I don't know if it's perfect, but if you're looking at this, is the top one. It's the process I want to learn is I've got this idea. How do I turn it into a nice looking idea? And the bottom one is I can come up with ideas and I can make them look okay or maybe nice. But how do I add a second idea generation process or something like that?
I don't know if I would use repeatedly, but yeah, it's more like it's the thinking process, the brainstorming process. It's more of that, and yeah, I think that's well said. That it's like, how can I design the polished thing?
I think the reason I wanted repeatability here is because obviously the process. The reason I want to learn the process in the first place is I don't just want to do it once. I want to be able to do it multiple times. And in this case, it's like someone else's creative process, somebody else, structured approach. But it's all about somebody else's approach here that I want to learn. Not just luck. So that's why I see repeatability. It's kind of somebody else is doing it repeatedly.
Yep. No, it's good. It's good.
And Kathy's in there. I think she might just sort of be maybe an outlier in that group, but that's fine. And then Francesca Julia sits in there because she could do it, but again, she wanted to know what your process was and how you explain it. I think in there, but I think that one fits. This one here, tools. I mean, I think these are all saying pretty much the same thing. So I can learn the tools I need to use to repeatedly create the images. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not brilliant, but it's not bad. Confidence. So I get more confidence. So I have the confidence to do it. So I have the confidence. I get to the point where I can do it. Don't worry about it. Skill and confidence. Skill and confidence. It's the same one. Elevate what I am creating to a standard I'm proud of. Might be an outlier there. Confidence and skills. Yeah, I mean, so confidence to do this. Because I think a lot of them were worried about. He's like, oh, my stuff, it's not good enough. Or in Mitchell's case, getting.
How would you approach if you were me? Like when I say this, I'm like, yeah, interesting point. I don't think I ever like mentioned the word confidence in my landing page or in my copy. I don't think I ever used that word, but I don't see like a lot of people here. Like, how would you take this as a strong signal to think where to plug that word? Or if you have like, don't go crazy with it, but if you have the chance, maybe use this phrasing, this type of line, gain more confidence, blah blah blah.
Well, it depends. Sorry, I'm weaseling out all these answers until we see the analysis.
Because
let's imagine all of these are in one group because of this confidence piece. That means that this statement would go into their job to be done. So when I talked about that poker hand, this might be their ace or something like that. And therefore, if we're messaging to that group, then we must talk about how we're going to help give them more self-confidence. We'll talk about how your individual live sessions are all about making sure that they're ready before they release these things to the world, and you're going to help them polish it and get it to the level that they can be proud of and all this sort of stuff. Whereas if this is noise rather than signal and not enough of these appear that everyone in the group says it, then we just ignore it and you carry on.
I understand. Yeah. Okay. I think that will. Yeah. That will still be the hard pill that I will need to swallow. But I'm sure I can implement some stuff over time and kind of maybe pitch different landing pages to different people and stuff, because I have the desire to have one landing page and kind of one messaging and hit all the birds with like one shot, but I think that's something where you would probably say it's not the smartest idea.
I think if you look at most companies sell more than one thing, but in this case you can sell the same thing packaged up with different levels of support or community access or whatever. Maybe you add another module on if you really need it, but at the moment I'm not seeing that anybody's frustrated by the content, and so you can sell the same product, but you can sell it, let people choose their adventure. Which of these best describes you? Oh, I feel I've got a lack of confidence, but I need to do this. Oh, click here, and then they get a message that's tailored to them, and they still come back to the same purchase page and buy the same course, but at least you sort of meeting them with their needs at that point in time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. That makes sense. I guess I'll probably want the best case scenario single landing page for now, and then slowly iterate, and maybe run more experiments and stuff.
What we did is we looked and we found one particularly high value course. So like the one group were the least price sensitive, and actually they were the group that we found was the least gap between us delivering a course for them. And so as a result, it was quite easy for us to say, okay, great, we'll go after that one. And then when I interviewed people coming through, I got people from the other jobs who sort of bought it anyway, because it was still selling something they wanted, but they kind of bought it by accident rather than.
Yeah, that's a good frame. I hope we can get to a point where we see, okay, seems like these people are the least price sensitive, because of course I wanna probably go after people with bigger pockets, because it's just, I think it's the smart thing to do.
Fair enough. Get ideas out of my head, I think goes back to the process piece. So I'm going to take them away. Complex idea in a more simple way. No, I think this is just communicate more clearly. See things from a different angle, images and my own ideas.
That's like a process thing with the thinking part, I
think
feel.
it's up there again, yeah. So I think we can get rid of that one. Knife here, expand network. Expand network. So he's the only one. And you had another one with drive retention.
I honestly, I feel that knife thing with the network, I think it's a little bit different flavor of drive results and capturing attention. It's kind of the same thing, but a little bit differently. Okay, maybe some people I want to see numbers go up, and knife maybe I want my idols to send me a DM, because
capture attention. I'd agree with you. I think let's just shove this up here now, because we can all together. But definitely, if he's on his own in that group, it's not. I don't know that we might be too narrow. So interact more credibility, and I think that might be. Visuals improve. It might lead to something new in the future. That's similar to knife. It wasn't immediate. I'm going to do this. So this is in the future. Nikki was in the future as well. Kathy was a future state. Tammy was probably a future state. Alex is a future state. Akil is a future state. So there's a. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but this was more build for the future. So whilst it's driving results and capturing attention, these were all so I can they were starting the ball rolling of their creator journey. It wasn't. I think some of them were going to use it more immediately than others, but most of them were. This was kind of like an add-on benefit of doing the course, rather than maybe the immediate piece of it. So
I think that's a good way how to frame it.
I don't know how to phrase it, but it's something like, so the results and the attention I want, but it's kind of that's downstream.
It's more like I want to build leverage. I understand this is a long-term game versus I want to have better engagement tomorrow.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's not. It's not to get the next post to be perfect. It's to start, getting an audience, or maybe it's building an audience.
Yeah.
Build an audience. Resonate with my audience. That was stop scrolling and pay attention. But audience, build a community, capture attention. Frederick, I'm not sure about that.
Well, I would say, I would say it's like build an audience / kind of brand as well, because essentially what Knife is saying with the network, he kind of wants to stand out in his own niche. It's like, it depends what words we use, and I don't think, of course, we need to look the words that they use, and we need to use those words, but it feels like audience, brand, this creator thing, which a lot of people aspire to because they know the value in having this audience and this brand and blah blah blah. while the other ones are more like, I want to drive more eyeballs to my business, which still kind of falls. If you do that, then you will do that. But in their mind, they think, I need immediate traction. I need better engaging posts, because it doesn't matter what's the reality. It's kind of more what they think and perceive and aspire to get. So yeah, that's a good, I think a good, very, very good distinction that actually could speak to people probably.
How does that sound as a sort of label for it?
So I can capture attention and build an audience around my new visual identity. I think sounds good for the top group. Or you want to mush all them together?
Yeah, I think they're all no. I think they're all together. I think Alex is a bit more immediate than everybody else.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Let's leave it. This is good. I think it's good.
I was going to add for my business, but Knife didn't have a business, so some of it is. But if I've built this new visual identity, I start doing this more consistently, releasing it out. My end state is that I'm grabbing the attention of people who aren't, at the moment they're going to ignore me. In Knife's case, and if I'm unignorable, then they're going to want to connect with me, and we'll build this network and grow and stuff like that. And Anne might have that too.
Do you hear me?
Yes, can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, let me know if there is too much echo or something. I will put back the.
No, I can hear you perfectly. So, so I'm looking at this unique visual identity there. Definitely want to bring her up into this. Okay. Should we have a look at fun and useful? It'd be fun and useful for us to do.
That would be very fun and useful for us to do.
Exactly. So indulge myself, a fun new hobby, be more creative, relax, something to do together. This is literally fun and useful. So Wes is that is where it's skill I enjoy outside my job, healthy hobby, enjoy the process. So fun, enjoy, sense of achievement might be slightly different. To
It's
that,
about confidence, maybe.
Yeah, is it a sense of achievement? Share. I don't know. Let me go and have a look at his story. I have bad news for you that the new application, maybe because I keep updating it, still seems to boot me out every day. So
that's all right.
Okay, in we go. Let's have a look over here. Sorry, share this tab. Let's have a look. And nice. All right, setup. All done, balance, connected, downloaded, new colors coming up with this, creative side, enjoyed doing this before, it's useful and purposeful, do expand network, ideas, gives me more opportunity in the future. And maybe that might be worth considering for that other group. I don't know whether it fits in, but again, it's about this more. I'm doing it to build this audience, but rather than saying for business, just more opportunity in the future, because I think that would talk to anybody in that. So there's a mental health kind of thing here. It's not that. Sales page, she can afford it. Yeah, thought it'd be fun. Added value, observations, if there's anything here. Social, fun budget. And we'll feedback sessions challenge. Yeah, yeah, there was the challenge. It was still more fun and so I can. Sorry, I'm looking on the wrong side. Healthy hobby, skill, expand the network, interact with more credibility, enjoy the process. Yeah, I'm not sure it was confidence.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But sense of achievement, though, there is some part here, and maybe it doesn't do. Maybe it all goes in here. I think it probably does, but you know, some part of the fun and useful is that I'm pushing against my boundaries, but in a fun direction or something like that. It's like I don't know. It's like I don't know. You like cycling or whatever, so I'm sure when you go out cycling, you want to go and find a new challenge to overcome, to test yourself against a different route. You know, for me, it's weightlifting or whatever. For these people, it's art. It's like this is a bit harder for me, but let me go and challenge and push myself.
Yeah, I think I like the word challenge. Maybe fun. Like I think that can be just so we don't forget. And here.
Yeah, look, push myself appears there. So we've got this sort of fun side. I'm indulging in that. I'm going to more use my creative side. I'm going to recharge myself. Something to do together. Fun. It's a hobby, but there is a hobby element. Maybe I think that's what it is. I can. Gold, fun. Have fun. Push myself and take up a new hobby. That needs refinement, but it's something like. How does that scan? It's quite a mouthful. But then, if you were targeting this group, I think you'd probably sub-bullet it. You wouldn't have this whole statement there. You'd be like, use a hobby you love to do work you hate, or something like that. You know.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good statement. I think a new insight that comes from this is like push myself, which is like an interesting yeah, no, it's good. I really like I think the second block of my landing page, I think I shared it with you. I think that's a good one for this part.
All right, that's good. Format of delivery is certainly going to get pulled apart because I think we had. So yeah. I want somebody to work with me, personal help. This is structure. This I want to go at my own. So structure here. Structure. Own pace. But this was this is where the two stories were different. Publish my work and get feedback on my ideas. Is that in the structure of this? Yeah, I think it probably is. And then we do this practice. So this is just that one might just belong over here actually. I'm not sure it's because he was going to do that on his own, but that was more what he was using the thing to do. Okay, so there's a resource. So there's learn at my own pace. Go at my own, sorry, that's learn at my own pace there. Fits around my schedule. Feedback. Live class, network with others, self-paced. Structure and support. So even though she didn't join a live class, she thought she'd join whatever your August challenge was.
Yeah, well, sometimes I try to do some marketing in my newsletters and kind of incentivize people with whatever. I create an office hour and I label it somehow, and just so there is like an extra incentive and like the time scarcity or whatever you call this. And of course some people act on that. And I think that's kind of that's what I really like about this whole kind of exercise and seeing all these stories and stuff is that, I send newsletters often, and I can like, okay, this week let's try to push buttons for this group, and now this week let's try to push buttons for this group, and just see how that performs.
Yeah, well, fair enough. I think that sort of makes sense. And to be honest, I think these ones here, even what's odd is even though the feedback you're offering through your community, it's not the same as a live class, but what we do with the academy that we offer. So a lot of people wanted live training, and I don't know if you've ever looked at it. There's a great book called The One World Classroom, and then another about, they called it Flipped Mastery, but I found out that we'd accidentally reinvented it. So a lot of people who are educators have worked this out ages ago. But rather than having the old school of delivery, like when you went to school, you've got a teacher who spends an hour teaching people by sharing exactly the same slides and content that they shared with the kids a year before and a year before that. And it's a waste. So you flip the classroom so that people watch the videos in their own time. And then the live or asynchronous model is to answer their questions and help them overcome their challenges. And it works just as well as a live class, I think. So the way you're doing it, rather than you having to be there teaching it, you've recorded it already. But then rather than you having to spend an hour with each individual student, you can just pull it off, create a loom, and give feedback to one and indeed many people all at once. So you've done the same thing. It's this kind of asynchronous learning, which gives you the feedback for your ideas, even though it's not live. It's not it's personal help, even though it's not in person.
Yeah, that's actually a good one. I honestly, yeah. No, this is good. I'm sure I can like, probably without increasing my effort, I can just tweak things in better ways, probably.
Yeah, let's see. Make sure I'm not completely losing my mind. So I can get personal and feedback. There is a network and learn in real time, but if I take that out, structure and support. Feedback and support. Why do they want that? To help me learn. Learn at my own pace was Kieran. Whereas he wouldn't have joined a live class. So he was the only person that we had that didn't want to do it for that reason.
I think an interesting, this is you know what I found here interesting, which is like a memory keeps coming up. Like one thing was that I think from some people you in the interviews, I was able to get the vibe that you know, that the feedback was like very much like cherry on the top, and I didn't know I will get that, and that was like really cool when I did, you know.
Yep.
So I feel like I'm doing bad job at communicating that value.
It could be that, but sometimes people don't know if they. It might just be that when people are ready to buy your course, they're not yet ready to understand the value of the feedback. So I've seen enough to believe that learning this will be fun and useful or whatever. Do I need feedback on it? Well, no, I've never done it. Like, why would I need some feedback?
It's similar, I think, to the realization which I had, and I was like kind of blown away about, was that people will like, okay, 3 hours of coaching, you know, the premium package. Like, what the fuck I will do with those 3 hours? I don't know what to ask, you know. And I was like, I never, it didn't even register to me that people might feel that anxiety when they see that kind of offer.
Yep.
And I think what you're saying now, what you're saying now is like, this should be phrased better, because like even if you are a super beginner, you know, feedback, it's just it's like, to me it's obvious, it's so groundbreaking, you know, when I share this crap and you did this here, you did this here, and you know that doesn't work because of this and that. There's just so much value. It's crazy, but people don't realize that.
And I think it's this piece here. It's you know, you're at a level, you want to get up a level, you want to move fast. You either, you know, you've got gaps, but you're in a bit of a hurry. Maybe Nikki's not so much. I don't know. There's definitely something that, you know, this is the way you'd bridge that. But the problem is where you're offering the feedback for free. So that there's a problem and an opportunity here. One, you're underselling and over delivering for the people who end up with the feedback sessions for free, which is no bad thing because you delight somebody and then they'll tell more people. But with the live training courses, you're, you know, the package I signed up to, you're cannibalizing potential sales of that by offering feedback down in your community to people who say, well, why do I want to? I don't know what questions I'll ask, so I'll just use the free feedback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know what I mean, and I honestly like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense, and I'm trying to find the buttons. As I said, I'm like working on the landing page now, and I want to restart this week. And I have 3 pricing plans, and I'm trying to find. I clearly know that the cheapest pricing plan will be. I don't know if I will like make it like really like small, or I will pretty much give it everything away that doesn't require extra time for me, because like whatever. I think I will do that, and I will put the price that would satisfy me. And then the middle group, I know that will be the one where I will like give feedback and stuff, but I want to find the words.
I know yesterday we were talking about don't slow down your rollout of the landing page for this. I probably wouldn't change the pricing that much unless that's what you've already communicated that you're going to do, because obviously if you change it this month and then you change it again next month or whatever, you start to create a bunch of confusion around.
No, I would say the cheapest pricing plan will be something very similar, maybe a little bit above which I had now with the discount. That would be like 187. I was thinking maybe the cheapest plan, maybe. And then I was thinking like 347 for the mid package, which I would love that majority of people buy, which would include like the feedback, and I don't know how to communicate that, but it could be here you started to use the word, you know, get support and learn more quickly. So that could be about the speed. The first group is more about like gain some curiosity, some confidence, you know. The second group is like, you know, move fast, more quickly, whatever. And then like for the premium package, I have something completely new, which I will share with you, and would love to hear your thoughts. But
okay, well, I think we can. Like I said, when we see the outcome, we'll not necessarily know, but we'll have a much better ability to sort of shape that and say, who's, you know, I mean, and when you look at it, it's not always about how much they spend. If you look like Nikki, she spent for her a lot of money to buy it. So when you look, if you just look at the absolute price people paid, I don't know, but did all of these people pay a premium in their mind for this versus doing it on a cheaper basis? Who knows? But what we want to see is it's not the absolute value they spent, but it's the ones who chose to spend more than they didn't go for the cheapest thing, or they stretched their wallet to get it. That's what it would be, because if they're doing that, if you think about it, what we spend in anywhere in life is on a triangle. It's like I'm either spending money, and if I'm spending money, I'm going to spend it to get a skill I don't have, or to save time. And if I'm not spending money, then maybe I'm spending time to make more money or to learn a skill more cheaply. And if I'm using a capability I've got, it's usually to save time or earn more money. So like you're around this kind of triangle. So what are people spending? Are they saying I don't mind, I'll wait longer, I'll do it myself to save some cash, or are they I'll pay more money so that I can do it? I don't know. It seems.
Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, it's tricky. Maybe like before we end the meeting, I would maybe love to show you what I have and just get your. I know it's not finished research and stuff, but it would just be cool to get your view on what I'm planning to go for and probably ship in the weekend.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm happy to have a look. Let's have a look in here. Money, good motivation. Could learn Figma, learn the tool. Don't learn it now. What can I afford it later? Use it to create marketing. Signed up. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I'm learning anything from looking at that. So okay. So I think this one works. And not all of this, by the way, you don't necessarily, maybe you reiterate this in your copy, but some of it's just about what you design, self-paced versus personal feedback type thing. So that's product community. So they just go over here.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess, yeah.
So like the community plays a role there, but actually, if you listen to the interviews about the community, there is a community that's formed around PJ's course, but it's some ex-student who's set up a LinkedIn group, and people go and post things in there. And the difference in your community is that you're active in your community and you're giving the feedback, versus if I'm part of that group, PJ will come in from time to time and he might provide feedback, but mostly I'm just sharing it with other students, and I don't want to learn from some other student, I want to learn from the master type thing.
Yeah, well, honestly, like when I initially made this course, the only sole reason for the community was that I felt like, okay, if I want my students to succeed, I do feel like I need to give them tailored feedback. I felt like that's why I made the community where just I can do it, and the rest is kind of on the cherry on the top. So I'm happy that not that many people are like, oh, I really wanted the community, because I don't think my community is like the most vibrant thing ever. It's more like, hey, you have questions, you want to get better at this, like just ask, let's get it done here. It's not like, let's go and like pet each other and feel good about life and talk about what we had for breakfast.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So Wes is the only one who's kind of outlying on this one. I can fit it around, but then Kieran did it. So maybe it's not always about being self-paced. It's just Well, that is on own pace. I've put that in there, haven't I? I keep going back to it. Put this around my own schedule, go at my own pace, practice what I learned, own pace, just a self-paced learning. That isn't that. I can fit it around my schedule. He's definitely in. So then schedule. Well, actually, let's have a look at DIY.
But I would say I would honestly put Kieran and Wes inside there, and I would just rephrase that group because it's the same thing. It's like people who are saying self-paced, it means like they wanna no pressure of like whatever stuff, and people who wanna fit around their busy schedule. Well, yeah, though the busy schedule people, they might want to join cohort, but they want to fit it around their schedule. So I'm not sure.
They're not doing self-paced ones, so that's the only reason why. We've got 2 different people in here, and we might get more. So I can fit this around. And actually, Nikki was like that. I think if we come back over here, we might. Where are you? So, so it's the mirror of that, right?
Yeah.
I've got the time in my professional life, juggling a lot of things, but I can do this. So there's a window of time. So I would pick them up on a. What does that do? Do we have different? Eduardo's on both of those, so that cancels out. Kira is, Nikki isn't, Kathy is. Okay. But I think they belong in there because they, I know that these are push statements, but it is. I've got to be able to fit it in. Is important to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I can do this on my own. I don't have to rely on somebody else. Step up on my own. Don't lose margin. Don't lose margin. It's the same one. Step up on my own. It's the same one. More quickly and easily create these.
That's process, right?
Yeah. And I think this one's probably that's probably not a bad, because Alex was copying other pieces. I don't know that he's necessarily fully in there though.
Yeah, I don't think it was the case for him.
I think it's more that lands back in. So him and Mitchell land in the process one.
Yeah.
And then maybe that if we're looking at these, they're all in here. That's not to profit from. That's something that that goes in there as well, actually. So then I think you probably collapse these 2 pieces in here. There's something that profit will work that out in a minute. So I can create I think that captures those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Now invest in myself, sharpen my toolbox. That similar to anything else? Learn a skill I lack. Let's have a look down here. Learn my own voice. Learn a new skill that would be fun to practice.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Yeah. We drop that back up there. And who was it? Freddie? No, he did. Well, I don't know. Let's move these further up here. Pull them down. See, what have we got in this slot? I'm investing in my growth as a communicator, communicate more clearly, sharpen my toolbox. That's more new skill. And this is new skill. So there is a component of investing in myself. Where are we? What are we getting here? And my own voice in this space, my own style, visual identity, that is more in here, isn't it? And this mental process one just goes up there.
Yeah.
More consistent as a unique visual identity, so that's more it's related to that one. Learn a little bit. Well, let's have a look. Possible, not too hard. Accessible. Finally learn to draw in a way that feels achievable. So these ones are definitely the skill level.
Mm-hmm.
Have confidence that I will be skill even though. That one there's communicate with visuals, communicate in a different way. We come to that next. Sharpen my toolbox, invest in myself, learn a new skill, invest in myself. Jackie was investing in himself. What about Alex? Let's go and have a look at Alex in here. Was he another one of the professional or personal development? Let's have a look. Lean management, people information, visualization, especially conflict resolution, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm going to do his own thing. No, actually, that's not helped me much. Let's go and have a look at Alex's push statements. Content recycling, power of visuals. I want to be able to share my ideas. I'll tell you what I'm going to go and do. Let's go. Sorry, I'm going to go and have a quick look at the actual transcripts. So the transcripts that I shared with you are just the basic ones off of Google. But actually, I put them through. I use this thing called Sonics. Where are you, Alex? Alex. There. I don't know if you can see this, but this is the.
Yeah.
Right, so let's have a quick search. Material development. Yes, I do spend a lot of money on personal development, small courses. For example, of course, didn't do that much in.
Well, I do spend a lot of money on personal development and sort of small courses, and well, more since at that time when I bought Yanis's course, I didn't do that much in that direction, but because I had a substantial amount that I'd spent on the MBA, that was something like 25,000. But then there's I was shopping around at the time, and I remember PJ Miliani's was like 350, and I thought that was quite expensive. And then I thought Yanis's was very good at 150.
Okay.
But I think it's more to do with I wasn't so I didn't know what I was getting then. Now looking back, 150 was an absolute bargain.
Right. Yeah, and you say you didn't know what you pause. Well, let's go back to development and see if we can get there.
If you compare any educational products with an MBA, everything sounds like frickin' peanut package.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, since 25 grand, then you clearly do invest in yourself, don't you? Hook a new client, you're just trying to make sure sort of planning.
Yeah, it's planting seeds, seeing what, because I find many things interesting, particularly in the personal development, coaching, lean management kind of world. And I like to see what resonates and what people find interesting. And then also see what their take is on that as well.
Right, I'm not sure that's. That's really grows, developed. The concept, teach it to someone else. I mean, at the time, I clearly called him out as somebody who is someone who's going to invest in himself. I'm not sure he ever said it. What do we want to do with this?
With where it is.
Sharpen toolbox. I mean, maybe that is just personal professional development. Sorry, guilty and crazy. I don't know, something like that. How does that feel? Stretching or?
I think it's on point.
All right, that gives us, I think, 2 remaining that we haven't done. So you see how much faster this way is doing it than the trying to do each one individually. Let's have a look at the discount. Join the course before discount expires, take advantage of the discount, take advantage of the discount.
So there's 3 people from 12 which we interviewed.
Yeah, plus some of the others that
probably didn't join, that there wasn't discount at all.
Yeah. I mean, this is what tips them over the edge. I'm never overly certain whether we bring this in, because this is more why they bought it when they bought it. But they were looking and they were hovering on on this anyway.
No, I definitely would rather not be a discount bro, to be fair. But
yeah, I mean, you don't want to be like Udemy where everybody,
Yeah.
I got $10 every day.
But
also
sometimes
put
it's hard, Sometimes I don't know, when you just see that freaking revenue is not coming in and you try to do whatever you can to incentivize people to buy. So yeah, I guess it's more like I don't want to do discounts, but I feel like shit, I like need something, more tools in my toolbox, then I feel like I need to discount, but I would rather not do it.
It does flush people out. I mean, I've seen that in the past. When you run a discount or something like this, then it motivates people to act. So I can take advantage discount. They've said it, so we'll include it in there. Right, we've got a lot of ones in here. Teach others how to think in this visual style. Is that communicate more clearly? Don't know. Francesca's a bit. I can share the complex ideas in my head. Tap into universal emotions. Communicate more effectively. So there's ease of understanding. Ease of understanding. Meet people where they are. Something resonates with different backgrounds. Get people on the same page. There's some that's get things out of my head and onto paper, and there are some that's a replacement for words, isn't it? Are they meaningfully different is the question. So written word, easy to understand, but is that any different to getting the idea out of my head and making it easy to understand? To be honest, I think what do you think? These guys were meeting people where they were at.
How many people, like, I'm trying to find which one was the getting ideas out of my head and that sort of vibe.
Ideas out of my head. To be honest, Francesca in there a bit more. Whereas this was so I can communicate in a coaching setting. There's a written word piece here. So this was about teaching others, and that was about teaching others. I mean, she could do that anyway, but she wanted to learn how you did it so she could she could use it. So what's the difference? Hang on.
I would put them in the same, definitely. No, like Nikki definitely does feel like she's here, so I can share and explain complex ideas in my head in more simple way. Like it's communicating more effectively, essentially.
Well, it is, but I mean, they are. It's two sides of a different coin. So if we pull them separately, does that change the clustering? So if we look here at the white and light green, one of the things I ask myself when I'm trying to work out if I'm pulling it apart is what all of these other ones. So white and light green, do they belong in the same other clusters? So white and light green here, light green only here, only a load of white up here. So not necessarily. What about these ones? Pink, purple, blue, and light blue. Pink. No. Blue, light blue. There is some part of this about I want to get a complex idea out of my head in a simple way. But actually, no, I think it's the same thing.
I would say it's pretty much the same thing, yeah.
And if these two do end up in the same group together, then we'll be able to sort of subdivide it and say, well, these two here are specifically about trying to get this thing stuck in my head out,
Yeah.
whereas here are just trying to get more people on the same page. But Mittel wanted to get people on the same page as well. Do we include Francesca Giulia in this or not? It's a bit of a stretch, but I don't know. I don't think it fits there really.
Yeah, she's a bit of a unique.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. We've done this trust the teacher ones. We haven't, have we?
I don't think we have done that.
Well structured. Care for the teacher. Is that? Maybe. This is. Well structured. Care about the teacher, has the credentials. I don't know where that goes. That's here. So I think there's two. Does that feel right or not?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Because that was all about the shape and structure of it and the way it's going to, the person's going to deliver me this. Whereas these are more. I don't even know. It's that.
It's more like.
This is kind of the inspiration-y type thing, isn't it?
The credibility and I don't know, track record, not sure.
Yeah.
I guess there's something about liking as well, so I kind of like the teacher.
Yeah, I like your ideas.
It's not only about credibility. I think it's about likability as well.
Yeah, there's something about the ideas in here that Tammy maybe less so, but that we could pull that across. But then that might just the likability that might just match up against whatever this was over here. The inspiration. I can't remember where we put that. There.
Yeah.
And we can play with the labels in the future. That's possibly you can work on this for a while. I was kind of sleep on it, but And then the question was, does Francesca Julia appear here? So I can teach others how to think in this visual style too. So I can teach others. Is it a left? The only question is, do I dump it in the leftovers bin?
No, I think so. If we don't have,
She wanted to get her. So sorry, let me come over here. Share this tab. Anything Intel world, blah blah blah. Very curious. Communication, others. She can't explain the process in her brain or how this works in a way that others can understand. And then if we share this tab, so I can communicate my ideas more clearly and get others on the same page. I think we might leave her in here, actually.
Okay.
Because whilst that might not be phrased perfectly, you know, a lot of the underlying motivation was, I'm trying to communicate with others. Everybody else wants to create a visual to communicate with others. She wants to communicate the process to do this. It's still about that connecting what's in here with the audience that I want to educate and resonate with. So I think we can leave her in.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay. So that looks like it's all pretty much set up now. So the next step of that, let me just stop this, is to feed it into the application, and then we start to code this up. And I'd love to show you it in the app, but I've broken the way to get to the page that shows it in a clean visual. But basically, think about it like ones and zeros. If somebody has a sticky note that is inside one of those ovals, then they're a yes. That statement actually propelled them towards purchasing a course. If the sticky note is outside of the groups, then by default they're a maybe, and then we just have to go through this and say, what do we think? Just because we didn't capture a push or pull doesn't mean that it was irrelevant to them, and so we just code this up.
Okay, but that will be from where you will pull the jobs, like the statements.
Oh, sorry. Let me show the tab again. Let's. So, let's add a table. How do you add a table to this? I don't actually use it enough.
I think above. No.
This thing?
No, that's template. Sorry, no. My bad. I'm not a Miro Pro as well.
I'm good enough at using it for some things, but I know it has tables.
You can just write and then use pencil to draw a crappy table.
Oh yeah, okay. Where's there? Okay, that'll do. It's pretty crappy, isn't it? Where's the size of the damn thing? Thickness. Yeah. Right. There we go.
This is very authentic table, and I love it.
Yeah. So let's do. I'll pick the ones with short names. Kieran.
Yeah.
We'll have Wes.
Okay.
And so just have a couple of lines on the table here, and then in the columns, let's just assume this goes on for
ever
as long as well. And then text.
I see. So you make like an Excel thing from this.
Yeah, let's dump it in here. There. So let's imagine that it's that.
Okay.
Make it bigger. So So again, this is a very
No,
crash.
I think I understand. And then you just mark X's, like
Yeah,
yes,
pretty much.
yes, yeah.
So over here, you used to have someone else to do this, Wes and Kieran. So they're both yes.
Yeah, okay. And then when you
whatever.
do all of that, I'm just yeah, fine. I'm just
And then somebody here, is X to these ones and ticks for these.
yeah.
So the within the app that I'm building, the ticks will be automatically created because it knows that you're inside this group.
Yeah.
And basically what happens with that is so you end up with this kind of like a sort of, let me see if I can make a terrible representation of a person. Zoom in here a bit. Right.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Great, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many did we say we had? Let's just assume we've got 12. This is easy.
Yeah.
So the way the clustering works on this is that to start off with, everybody is their own individual group. So I think when you asked me, what if we only end up with 12 individual stories, and hopefully you can see that there's themes in it. So this is like one single group. But then if we split these into 2 groups, we look at those yeses and nos, and mathematically we say, well, actually, these ones are more similar to one another than these ones here. And so now we have 2 groups of 6.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? And it's literally just like maybe these were all 1s for everything, and these were all X's for everything like that.
And then from that we create essentially 2 jobs, but maybe we see,
Yep.
these 3 are so even more different to these 3. So there are 2 groups inside that 6, and then we have 3 groups, let's say 2 for 3 and 1 for 6.
That's right. So basically, what we don't really want 2 groups is not detailed enough, and the reason to get this level of abstraction is so that we can drive out between 3 and 5 groups from the people that we've talked to. So maybe like it's like there's these three, and actually no, sorry, got that wrong. And then all these 6 become group 3 because these are all still more similar to one another than these 3 are from those 3. And so then those 3 jobs, and what the app will do it automatically. And maybe we'll just keep that for the sake of it. 4 is like this. And then for 5, we've got something like that. So these people end up in this one. So you've got, in this case, let's do it actually, because I've got these little people. So you... Actually, I think I've got the same for these all the way down, haven't I? For whatever reason. And then in this case, I'm just making this up, obviously.
Yeah, I think I understand.
So what we say, and we don't know who it is. So what this level is no good to us, but level, where's level 3? 1, 2, 3.
Whatever.
Oh, that's 3. That's 4. That's 5. Let's get 2 is just this high level grouping. But what we say is, okay, if we see this, all 6 of these are together. These 3 are together. These 3 are together, and they stay that way across the rest of the line. So, does it make sense that these 3 people belong together? Did they really share a similar set of motivating forces? Yes or no? And then when we look at 6, if all 6 of them are actually very similar to one another, I think we had quite a big group that we thought were, were like content creators. Actually, let's go back up and have a look. So what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we separated this, and we didn't know about these. So do they belong here or here? And so really, this gives us, by using mathematics, a set of groups for us to sit and look at and say, does that make sense? Does that line up with their stories? And is that and what we did when I ran this first, it was 3 groups were the right answer for our first set of research, and I saw this group here. Literally, it's like, oh my god, how did I miss? Like they're trying to achieve something so specific, and by the way, this is perfect because I can do that better than anybody else.
They're
So
not
then
price sensitive and this and that, so let's just go after these people.
Yeah, we're going to target them. We're going to be the best people in the world if you happen to be in this context, and we're going to drive out all of the problems. And if you're over here, you want something that not only don't we sell, we're never selling it. Like that's not for us. This would be loads of hard work or whatever. So this is how you take 12 different interviewees or however many we've got and drive it down into a subset that we'll either decide that there are 3 jobs to be done from these people, 4 or 5. And if at this point it makes no sense, like if the pair of us are looking at it going, no way, that doesn't add up, then it tells us that we've done this piece here wrong and that we should come back and revise it. That doesn't tend to happen very often, but it could do. But more likely than not, what we do is we feed it in, we code it up, and then we see when we have a look at these, and when we look at the jobs, then we'll detail those jobs. Because again, what you see, let's say it's like this statement. I'm just gonna, damn it, they're not text boxes. I just imagine this is more than one statement. But what we'll see here.
Yeah, I understand. Like you find a group where, okay, like this looks like a super good group, good fit, and then you can go after exactly what they want and deal with all the anxieties they have and look at all the other context.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we're like on this one here, if everybody in this group agreed with, when I used to have someone else to do it, when 2, when 3, so I came 1, 2, and 3. So it's either everybody agrees with it or a majority of people agree with it. Then we put it as a statement in here, and this is what I was talking about, this kind of poker hand, because the ones that these people agreed with, by the fact that we've driven it apart based on the 1s and 0s or the yeses and nos, are different to what these people agreed with and what these people agreed with, because they were actually motivated to go shopping for a very different set of reasons.
Yeah.
And then we detail each of these, what's it more about, what's it less about, like what are the emotional, functional and social drivers that are acting upon them to make them want to purchase something. Then you can really dig in deep then, and that's when you can use it to go and say, okay, price wise, we expect these people to go and buy your high price course. These ones here, we're expecting them to buy something low.
Yeah,
because we really understood their motivations.
That's cool.
So
that's cool.
Makes a bit more sense than just a bunch of random sticky notes stuck on
Cool.
on a whiteboard.
That makes a lot of sense. You need to run, or can I share you something and just get your thoughts on it?
Yep, happy to take a look. So go, far away. Just on that, like this stuff here, is that okay? You sort of
to share with the public?
No, what I've just put up there, does it make sense? Have you got any more questions, or is it?
No, it makes complete sense. Like that makes more sense. My dummy brain kind of wants to when I see the board we have, my dummy brain wants to latch on. Oh, there's like a bunch of sticky notes in this thing. So just let me slap on the website, these statements and really focus on those. And I think there is probably some truth, some benefit to it. It's definitely smarter than what I did before, which was just like, okay, I think let's do this because I just feel like it today. But what you basically shared is like, then I have, and even after this, if I continue to gather this data, like I probably will have. I hope the results will speak for themselves as well. But like, even if I can go to my newsletter and I can like, okay, I will. This newsletter relates to this group, you know, because of whatever reasons, and then I can tailor the copy, every wording. Like, I can really nail a specific group, and I feel that could be very powerful. Of course, I will see that in the retrospective, how much what will actually happen. But I think there's an insane power in that, and like what I love the most is that just the non-bullshitty thing. I already said you to this, like how tied to reality this is, you know, that those are real conversations, those are real stories, those are like as close as you can get to like reality. And then we have actually used a very structural approach to get to this, and it just makes sense. It's not like, hey, use this AI prompt and get this whatever marketing copy, you know.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people with this, particularly on the Switch interviews, there's another style where they use surveys to drive out what people really want. And it works very well for tangible products, I think. But a lot of people who have that approach don't like this approach. They're like, oh, there's not enough data, there's not enough people to...
No, what I am curious about, I'm honestly, I am curious about, you know, I wonder, like, having more interviews. We have like new set of golden sticky notes, where they will fit, where will they like start to form new buckets, or they will actually fit in these stories, because I think
if I just go back actually, so that I think is a really good point, because this crap illustration here I think brings it to life. So I said that these we'll have these statements here. Oops, sorry. Hi, Neil. It's late in my week, and maybe these are completely different over here. We'll just change the color of them or something like that, just to pretend they're saying something else. What it lets me do once I've got this is I can then go and find somebody who is yet to buy anything, and people who haven't yet bought anything don't yet know what they really want. Right? They can't do, because otherwise they'd have already gotten to the purchase point. And so I can ask them questions, and I'm like, oh, so is when 2 interesting, or is it more like red when 2? And someone will, oh, well, yeah, actually, yeah, it's like, no, I've never had anybody do this myself. I'm not trying to do it for a living. It's like, oh, is it more for a hobby? Yeah, it's more for a hobby. Oh, well, so if that's the case, what I find is people there are likely to also experience this and want to be able to do X, Y, and Z. Is that like you? And people are like, oh my God, you're reading my mind. And I think I had a comment like that up on one previously. I did this data catalog research before, and I posted it up on LinkedIn, and literally somebody's commented on there. He's like, it's like, you living inside my head, because that's exactly what happened for us. And it's like, well, it's exactly what happens to a lot of people, because that's what we get from these stories. And it allows you to have that, you know, when a lot of these people talk about the resonance of the idea. But like, if you feel like I understand you, and I know your context, and I can explain what you're trying to achieve in language you can't yet do, you trust that I know the right answer.
Yeah, you know what this gets me curious about. Like, I usually have I'm very much, I don't pay attention much to stuff that I don't use, you know?
Yep.
And one of the things which I see among online business stuff, I know there's several tools who have these, you know, you sign up to newsletter and then they throw this like survey. Are you this? Do you have a paid newsletter, or you don't have a paid newsletter? You know, all these questions which like you are just gathering like intel on your people. And this makes me think that, you know, is there a way to make this more scalable? You know, can I run this maybe as well in some way or form, and then I can like, because yeah, I don't know, when people join my newsletter, if I run something like that, and if people actually click these things, is it more for fun? Is it for this? Then I clearly know, you know, oh, now I tag this group with this label, and I can feed them more the pitches around fun, enjoyment, and hit those buttons, and those people don't. So this is like, yeah, it's really clever.
You can put together like imagine a little survey. Where are you in your visual ideas journey? And people love surveys, especially if the end of it gives them some useful recommendation. but we did this with people like, are you ready to take this training course or to get this certification? And people would go through it, and it leads them on a journey, and the output is all based on the research we've done. It's like, oh, it sounds like you would really benefit from X, Y, and Z. Therefore, go and buy from the competitor, because like don't buy from us. You know, it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
No, this is cool. This is cool.
if you sort of pinball down into the bucket that I'm trying to get, then we shove you straight to buy mode.
Yeah,
So-
this is very, very useful. It's like you said, you know, it's like it's now I have a little bit of a map, you know, and I can move forward, and pretty much any marketing idea, any change I do can be like this can be used in that to
I reference straight back to it. So a few people from my course came and said to me, we'd love you to add more on this. And I looked and I said, well, sorry, we're never going to do that. And it's like, oh, but why? You know, really, it's like, because we've cut all of the fat off this course to get it as lean as we can possibly get it, because it's imperative to the people who join that they pass as quickly as possible.
yeah.
Yeah, we can teach this other stuff, but the people going through our course are already passing at a grade of like 82% on average. So why the hell are we adding more to it if it's already hitting, like it's already a ding, ding, ding top points? And so, you know, it gives you this kind of lens to, if you're going to add something, oh, does it help? And, you know, if you look at, you know, AI and stuff like that, loads of people are slapping it on.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, we're now AI powered. Well, I'd only add AI onto my product if it helps somebody achieve the goal they were trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a tool that you're teaching them, so therefore it's sensible. If it isn't, then scrap it. Don't waste your time and effort on making it in the first place.
Okay. Do you have 5-10 minutes
Yeah,
to
yeah, go for it. Do you
Okay.
want me to stop the recording if you're going to share something sensitive, or do you want to leave it going?
It's the landing page which I'm working on. I honestly don't care. This will be in public as anyhow, and I just want to explain a bit my reasoning. But I mainly want to hear your thoughts on pricing. Let me share the screen. Allow to share.
It's the little sort of, looks like an arrow pointing up inside a computer window next to the video icon. And
Share entire screen. Share entire screen. Now you see a black screen, right?
not seeing anything at the moment.
Share entire screen. Now you see a black screen.
Yep.
And now there is floating in a thing.
Here we go. Something's coming.
All right, I'll just quickly, like, whatever, you know, this will be pretty and beautiful and doesn't matter. It will be like super cool, but that's not important. The copy I will change to best of my abilities, and this will like grow and whatever. This will be more like, what do you actually get there? Some testimonials, whatever. I think, is this for me section, I will probably actually change to what this can do for you. And then I think I can like boom, 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 and kind of create those desired outcomes, which I've seen from the interviews overall, you know, whatever.
Yep.
I'll
So
just try that.
Two points on this: the testimonials, the quotes. Once we see the groups that people are in, I would go back to the interview text that we've got, and I would harvest the quotes. So it's like, I thought this would be too hard, but then I realized that it's simple, it's easy for me, or whatever. And so you're actually using a testimonial either to nix an anxiety that somebody had, or to amp up one of the outcomes that they wanted from it.
Yeah.
And earlier up, we have the testimonials. You know, on our page, we just harvested some, and it was like the frustration with this book people had to read. And the testimony, it's not even our testimonial, it's just a quote from somebody that we interviewed. And it says, you've seen the size of this book, right? Like, who the hell wants to sit and read that? And where it's attributed to a real person who actually said it, but you know, it adds value and momentum to people like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah. No, for sure. I will try to use testimonials as much as I can, like here, whatever, like to the point, zero fluff, to get started instantly. That's more like process, but not sure if it's the best. Like, I'm having so much fun, a lot more value than I paid for. You know, I think I had so much fun probably is a good line. But yeah, I agree. I'll try my best to that. And then when it comes to pricing, here's what I'm thinking, and here's my thoughts. This is not the truth here, but so I plan to have like curious plan, committed plan, exclusive plan, which I would love to try out. The curious plan is more like for people who are like curious to learn the process, you know, and gain a little bit more confidence.
So in the water, or I'm just starting out.
Yeah, and there I would. Here's two things. Like, one is I can theoretically put in there everything, which is like without my effort. You don't get the feedback sessions. Maybe you don't get to join the live sessions, and you maybe don't get access in the community to the questions and answers. You get like limited access to the community, you know, and pretty much everything else, all the templates, the file of fame. There's some other stuff like visual scorecard, which I'm working on. You get everything there. And then I felt like price could be 187 cheapest plan, but that's like a little bit above which I had for a long time. The discount 159 was like for a long time.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm asking more, and I'm cutting like some of the features from the previous stuff. But it's fine, you know, if prices changes and
whatever.
and stuff.
You know, you've had your chance to buy at the old price. This is the price now. Take it or leave it.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about that, and I feel like I don't know what will happen, and I feel theoretically, you know, I could sell that even for like $89 because it's like almost zero effort for me. You know, it's fully self-paced, blah blah blah, just whatever. People come and join. But then I feel if I would put that price point at like below this, basically I would not want to go below this by any means. But if I go, you know, it could be crazy, and then I feel it will just. Maybe I would love people to join mostly this plan, which would have the feedback sessions, which would be like committed plan, you know, get things faster, get tailored feedback, whatever, need to figure out the copy. And then the main benefit is like, the full on support from me. Here, zero support from me. Here's like you get actually feedback and stuff. But of course, I had the idea maybe to strip down this plan to completely like self-paced course and just this basically. And then this has as well like Figma templates, AI prompts, you know, a lot of things which might people want to push more here. And then exclusive plan, I felt I would love to change that and make it like more expensive to something like this. And it basically frame it more as like a yearly, like learn this new skill. For 1 year, I will be in your WhatsApp, I will be in your Slack, I will kind of help you indirectly along the way, like a personal coach for a year, you know? Same like you can WhatsApp me anytime, you know, I'll give you feedback, you can tell me whatever struggles you're feeling, you get like my personal coaching for a whole year.
For this one here, we really need to see what was driving people's decisions, because like it's got a big price ticket on it. I don't care about that. I'm not ever worried about charging high prices, but think about the anxieties. It comes with 3 sessions. Geez, what am I going to ask him in session 1? I don't have any questions. And now, what, a whole year? I'm paying for a whole year of questions. I don't even have a question for the first session.
Yeah, no, I would need to frame it in a good way, but that is more like for people like I want to learn the skill. Like I have the money, I would love to. Like I want Giannis to fit more my schedule and my life, you know, and here I would like whatever. Okay, will be in like my Slack or WhatsApp when I have, you know, a concept I'm struggling with, I can just ping him, you know, make that visible. That at least was the idea. But I know what you're saying makes complete sense, and that was the mistake previously. But I would not love this plan to be like extremely popular. That would be more than rare, you know, if I would have like few customers a year, that would be actually fine. I would love to majority to funnel here. And here, like another one thing which again comes to pricing where I'm struggling a little bit. I don't know, you know, I feel like maybe some people might think this is like too expensive for like a fully self-paced thing. I feel those feedback sessions which I give and stuff, that's like so much
let's see, because nobody was overly bothered by the price point. I think, you know, Nikki wasn't bothered by the price. She was just, you know, it was a lot of money for her to spend. Everybody else, you know, as long as it was a shirt or whatever, like some of them don't even remember how much they spent. Some of it was like $50 or something, because because in their mental accounting, it's not enough money for them to be worried about. So if we can land and nail the value by being specific about what, you know, this is for you, and if I feel like I already own it before I bought it, I don't think I wouldn't worry about how much you're charging. Because ultimately, if it's something for fun, how like, I don't know, $147. If I'm doing this for fun that could be useful, I don't care. $150. I spent more than that tonight in a couple of hours with my parents having a few beers. Right? It's like it's not a lot of money to worry about for some people.
Yeah.
So therefore,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I know.
whereas
I definitely struggle with like a little bit of like imposter syndrome still to this day. Even like I've illustrated for Jefferson Fisher and stuff like that. I think it's a bit of my like mental game, and coming from Latvia, which is not like super rich country. So I don't know. That's just like I think it's probably more my internal work. But then like a question. One,
Yeah.
I feel like at least for the Curious package, I would rather package it as big as I can, but without the tailored feedback. But
Yep.
then can I do this 187?
Yeah, why not? I guess what you've got to do with these price points, and maybe you jack up the middle tier price instead. But in my experience, you want something for people to reject. So if I'm coming through here, and maybe I am just I am curious, like maybe that's a great label for it.
They're like, okay, this is definitely not for me.
Yeah, no way. I'm just starting out. Like so I can get rid of that, and then I look at the other two, and I don't choose the one I want. I think about the thing I rejected, and I'm like, well, I rejected that because it's too expensive. So therefore, the committed one's too expensive for me. That must mean the curious one's left. I'll buy that. So people they kind of eliminate in the decision. They don't buy what they want. They reject what they don't want.
Yeah, it's just interesting. I feel. Do you feel like this could be more expensive? Because I like feel if there will be too big of a gap, like people might just it's just blah.
Well, I think it can be, and I think as long as there's a good reason why it's more expensive, and so until we see the analysis, I'm not going to know for sure. But again, you try it with a higher price points, and if you're not getting the conversion and you're worried that price is really putting people off, but we'll do landing page tests for that. That'd be easy. We'll recruit some people. I don't know how we'll find them. Maybe out of your newsletter. And pay them $50, and then we'll sit there and I'll get them to load up the website and go through this. So, what are you thinking? What does this look like to you?
Yeah, it's just sometimes with the audience, I know like I'm a little bit afraid to you were right, to don't go crazy with changing prices a lot, because like I'm not running ads, and I know some people who join my course, they've been lurking it for years. They know how I've changed things, and they like, hey, Giannis, but previously it was this and that. Like, of course, it's like no big deal. It's more like, well, this is the thing now. But I don't like to, I felt like I feel super bad if like people join for $347 and the next day I sell for $157. Of course, nobody cares, and I've been in that situation myself as a customer, and I don't care. Like but I don't know. I'm just fucking.
Pricing is one of these things that is, there's an art and a science to it, and all this other stuff. The data gets you so far, but unfortunately, then it's kind of all right. Like we believe this. Now we've got to go and test it, and the only way we test it is getting in front of real people.
I'm sorry to stop you again. Is there like any like sort of like probably need to ask GPT? Is there any research or something? I'm just thinking, of course.
There's a good book by Nick Calenda called Pricing.
I'm thinking like if this is like whatever 500, instead of 347, like I wonder how many people that 150 difference makes a difference that they would join or wouldn't join.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I said, Nick Calenda published a book on this. It's quite good. It's pretty accessible. There's about 101 pricing tactics of different things, so you can sort of skim through that. But like I said, I personally, for me, given that you're changing your pricing, we're not far away from finishing this research. And like we made a lot more progress today than I thought we were going to. The coding up of the answers is something that like you could join it if you want, but there's nothing stopping us from moving forward. So over the weekend, if I can get the new application working and we can run it through that, great. If not, by Wednesday, I'll have done that coding matrix and I'll have driven out 3 to 5 jobs so that you can actually see those clusters and we can start detailing that decision and making the choice.
You mean make like all the pricing plans essentially create like this is for one group, this is for another group, and this is for the third group?
If we can, I think, you know, we've got the research now. We can look at it. There are some people that want something premium or high end or whatever. What is it that they want? Then there are others who just tipping their toe in the water. You know, what do they spend? And until we pull those groups out and see it in front of us, you know, we're still guessing and chucking shit at the wall and hoping some of it sticks. So, you know, why not just finish the job, get to the end of it, and then say, right, okay, because it might completely change your view on this. I just don't know.
All right. Yeah, it's interesting. You have this, I don't know, like I feel like when we did that wall of sticky notes and clusters, I feel like, oh, things start to map out, and it's to me, it's at moments it feels like you're still like feeling like you're in the dark, and we need to finish this until the very end, and then the light will appear from the sky.
I prefer to operate on a state of presumed ignorance. So, like, if I go into anything and I think that I know the answer, then my ears are closed and I'm not paying attention. Whereas if I go and I say, look, a lot of this is about learning and opening my mind and just letting real people tell me what's important to them. And let the maths pull people apart into groups and see if we can make sense of it. And once we do, then I've got the confidence in that. And so, right, here's the signal. This is what we can test. This is where we go. Before that, we could change this today, but why? We were so close to to going and running in and.
Yeah. I guess. No, we'll see. Maybe I will finish it and I will put it live. But like, I'm at the moment, I'm not sending any newsletters. I'm creating social posts. So there's very little traffic that gets to the site, and I would probably at least hold off the like marketing push. You know.
Or do it, to your point, if there's people in the woodwork who have been following you for years and are going to really miss out if they don't get the current price, then leave it up and say, I'm launching the new landing page. The old pricing is going to be live until whenever.
Yeah.
You've got until the end of October. You've got until middle of October. Get in now. And you could tease some, the prices are going up because that's what you said you want to do, so they will. And then that way, because this is probably just a block in your code base, so you can just plonk it off in the corner and swap it in when ready, unless it's all the copy above is heavily tied to these pieces.
Well, these blocks kind of are, which is essentially the stuff I offer. It's a self-paced course, behind-the-scenes videos, office hours and guest lectures, which are already there and recorded, Figma templates, file of fame, content cheat sheet that's there. AI prompts is just I need to package it a little bit better, but some people were very interested, at least in the community, about AI prompts, so that's something I'll probably add. Visual scorecards is a simple thing I'm making just for you to evaluate yourself. How good is your visual?
And if you think that the AI prompts are really, if we look at what we've talked about today, so I can get a repeatable process, so I don't have to sit there and stare at a blank page or whatever. So it's AI, but whatever, who cares? I'll give you something to help you. Get out.
You can use those words here properly.
Yeah.
And then this is more the community aspect. Get my direct feedback, occasional live events. I will answer your questions and help push whatever each other in the community. That's essentially what I kind of offer. And there's not much new, and I'm not removing anything as well. Just like creating a third plan and removing like the community aspect. But I guess it could be, I wonder even like, where I got fucked up all these years is, as you said, I'm like giving away this feedback, which is theoretically like a lot of value, and that some people, even if the price would be the same, they just feel that I don't want that feedback, I don't care, I just want to see the process, and they feel they don't have option to buy because like, and now they would see, oh, the feedback costs this much, you know.
Yep.
But I don't want that. I want this, and this is still like
Yeah.
good sale for me. But they
And it's
feel more
value,
convinced
isn't it?
because it's more tailored to them.
And what I would probably do with the curious people is, if you were doing that, is I would then get them, see where they're going through, send them a message after they've joined. Hey, have you created visual recently? If you want, I'll add you to the one-time piece of feedback for the
That's
piece.
good.
It delights them because they didn't pay for it. They didn't get it. Oh, do you want to upgrade to the committed so you can have this more often? Oh, actually, yeah, that sounds awesome. I'd love to pay a bit more money because now I can't live without that because I'm beyond dipping my toe in the water.
That's
So-
really good. That's so good. I must write this down. That's super
Because then
clever.
you're giving something away for free, but actually you're not. You're giving them a lure to pull them into the.
No,
higher
well,
price
I
service,
am
like them up.
giving them something for free, but that's like, yeah, you are tasting what you can get, but that's really clever. That's really
Why not?
clever.
I mean, you're doing it anyway, right? So it's not going to add much more workload. They get it once, and if they either upgrade and you make, whatever it is, a few $100, $150 more per person, or they bounce and you've put a little bit more workload on your head.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Thanks. Great idea. Okay, well, we'll see. Thanks for helping me think this through. That's it.
So-
Friday. So
no, just I love it. It's great. This has been really good. I've really enjoyed doing this. So I'll let you know over the weekend. I'm just going to try and crack on. I actually had the coding matrix working before, but so it's not far off. It's literally just the board that's the problem. But if I can't get it working in the new app, all I do is I copy paste those statements out of the Miro board into the old app, code it up, and it will drive it out. So we know that works. So by Wednesday, I'll record what I'm doing so that you can see it and so that we can share it here. But the next stage of it is a pretty boring mechanical.
it's just automation.
Yes, no, maybe it's like relatively dull, and that's why I'm trying to automate it in the new app and get it into a simpler way, so people are only dealing with the maybes rather than the.
No, this is sick, and good luck with that. It's a sick tool. It's a sick process. I really enjoy this, and I'm very happy we ended up working together. Thank you so much.
So it's enjoyable for me. Like, this is why it's like, I know you obviously enjoy what you're doing, but it's like solving a problem. I think Khalid said it. Like, he likes the visual side of things because it's a bit like solving a puzzle to get a piece out there. And for me, it's like, all right, why are people spending money on this? Like, how do we get more out of the group of people that already want to?
No, this is cool. Thanks a lot. It's Friday. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for all the hours you put into this. And enjoy the weekend with parents. That's awesome. They're visiting.
Yeah, exactly. Go and spend a bit more time with them over the weekend, and then got F1 on Sunday, so that should be fun.
Cool. Okay. Chat to you next week, I guess.
Yeah, well, we put some time in for Wednesday. I know you said you might have some issues, so just if you need to move it, let me know. But otherwise, talk to you then.
Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Bye.